Okay, alright, hi everybody. I'm Bryan Hinschberger, Bon Vivant Imports. Today I'm doing something a little bit different. We're doing a cocktail video. Gonna play with a particular beverage that we import from Spain. It's called Pacharan. Have you heard of it? Probably not. Well, Pacharan is very common, famous, everyday drinking in Spain, all throughout Spain, but it actually started in Navarra. So the northern part of Spain, up underneath the Pyrenees, just underneath France, in Navarra is where Pacharan started. Pacharan is essentially an anise liqueur that has been macerating sloe berries for months and months and months until it gathers this beautiful flavor and a gorgeous red hue. Anisette, anise, the licorice flavored liqueur. Many of you may have tasted something like that. Don't be scared by the licorice because the sloe berry actually kind of conquers that notion of flavor. So then what they do is they take a sloe berry. It's from the blackthorn bush or pacharan, and they take these berries. They're beautiful, bright purple, bluish, cool individual berries that grow all over Spain, but particularly in Navarra. And they let these berries sit in this anise and macerate and give this unbelievable flavor, this rich cherry and this cool nuance to the anise liqueur. This is then drank all over Spain. It's very traditional. After dinner, when I'm in Spain, we're drinking, we're eating, we're having a wonderful dinner. At the end, it's very common that they'll bring out a bottle of Pacharan, put it on the table, and help yourself. It's fantastic. We need to do that more often over here in America. But today, being that Pacharan is not necessarily well known in America, I want to introduce a couple cocktails. So I have two cocktails today. One is called the Burlesque, and one is called the Blackthorn number 2. There is a number 1, but don't look at it. I don't know what's its issue, so we're doing number 2, Blackthorn number 2. We're going to start with the Burlesque, though. So basically, the house we import is called Licores Baines Pacharan. They do several tiers of unbelievable Pacharan. They do some anise liqueurs. They do some other things. They're very cool. Old business, very small still. They started in 1844 and were the very first to actually bottle Pacharan as a commercial spirit. A lot of people have been making Pacharan for centuries. And they were the first to actually bottle it, commercialize it, and turn it into something known as, more of an international beverage. So we import Licores Baines. We deal with two different tiers. They have the Cedar, which is kind of a beautiful entry-level Pacharan, nice cherry fruit, very quaffable, drinkable, and really great in cocktails. Then you go up to the Baines Pacharan Classico, which is a little bit more elegant, more distinguished, very tasty in cocktails as well, but you can also just sip it. Then they move into their Reserva, which is gorgeous, and you would never touch anything else with it. It's beautiful for sipping. So we're going to do two different cocktails, one with the Classico, one with the Cedar. To start with the Cedar, we're going to do a gin cocktail. Raise your hand if you like gin. This guy. Love gin. It's a beautiful juniper berry liquor. And we're just going to use Bombay. So basically what I like to do is do about an ounce to an ounce and a quarter of gin. One of those in there. And then about the same, of the Cedar. Put that in there. Now you see automatically, just that beautiful kind of red, gorgeous hue to that. Really nice color to all of these. So it makes your final cocktail gorgeous. So we have our booze. We have about 2.5 ounces of booze here. Now we're going to throw in a 1/2 ounce of lime. Now, just because I'm clever, I went ahead and pre-squoze. All the fancy cooking shows, pre-do some of the ingredients. So I did the lemon juice, or the lime juice right away. So we have 1.25 ounces of both the Pacharan, the gin, 1/2 ounce of lime, and then we're going to do about 1/4 ounce of simple syrup. My simple syrups, I like to do 1-to-1 ratio of sugar to water. Obviously, I used brown sugar, or not literally brown sugar, just the brown natural raw sugar. You get what I mean. Throw that in there so we now have a little bit of sweetness. Now for bitters. I like Angostura bitters. Beautiful, beautiful. It's very classic. And never be skimpy on bitters. It's important to have a bitter component in your cocktail. It makes it delicious. I do about 5 heavy dashes of bitters. And I'm going to put a touch of lime bitters in there. You saw we had a little lime component. We're going to go just a couple dashes of this. Scrappy's bitters out of Seattle. Killer bitters. Try that out. Little lime bitters to taste as well. So now that we have this, we're going to add some ice. Throw this in here. A couple more cubes. And then give it a really, really good shake. Now, with straight booze, I like to stir with, when you have a little bit of fruit mixed in with this, you know, give it a good shake. Oh, there we go. All right. So, now, strain this off into your cocktail glass. Now, there is one thing that I do really like to add to this cocktail. It's drinkable just by itself, but the burlesque, and maybe taste it, and you can see why you think I called it the burlesque, but I think it's fitting. The burlesque needs a little bit of a ginger beer. So you can really grab anything. This is Reed's ginger beer. I like Fever Tree ginger beer, but a little float of ginger beer right on top, and then a nice lime wheel right just to float. Gorgeous little garnish, and voila, you have the burlesque. Let's see how it tastes. Hold on. Yes. So the Pacharan really adds this gorgeous, like, intense layer of cherry, kind of this caramely fruit. It's beautiful. It's a really, really nice cocktail. I think you will enjoy. So we're gonna move on to the next cocktail. So, the next one is a whiskey base. I am a huge whiskey fan. So, this is called the Blackthorn No. 2. Blackthorn, why? Because that's the name of the bush. The sloe berry is the blackthorn berry, or the Pacharan berry. This is going to be something quite delectable and delicious. We're going to take some rye whiskey. You can use bourbon, you can use scotch, whatever you like, but I'm a huge component of rye. So we're going to do, again, about 1 1/4 ounce of rye. Now for this one, just because of the bourbon and the kind of the class, the more beefiness, the richness of bourbon or of whiskeys, I like to use the Classico with this. So again, about a 1 1/4. I really like, you know, I've played a lot with Pacharan and a lot with different cocktails using this amazing liqueur. And I like to do equal parts of the Pacharan and something else, whether it's tequila, whether it's whiskey, gin, vodka. It really works well. It just brings out the components of the other liquor, but also brings out some texture of the texture and flavor of the Pacharan. So, a little Pacharan in there as well. Now we're going to add most definitely we need some more simple syrup, little sugar in this, so I'd go about a quarter ounce to half ounce, right there, okay, and we need some Peychaud bitters. So if you can find bitters, obviously Angostura bitters, classic, it's everywhere, you'll find it. Peychaud bitters, I think, has a little bit different, almost this Christmassy note of spices and flavors, several dashes of that as well. If you want to play with bitters, try different things, do it, because it works. They're always delicious. And then lastly, we need, a little Antica formulas. I knew I was forgetting something. So sweet vermouth. I once, one of my cocktail books calls Antica formula, it's from Carpano, the Rolls Royce of vermouths. I wish you could smell this because it's so true. About a half ounce of the Antica formula sweet vermouth. Throw that in there, and now for egg yolk. Now, don't be freaked out about raw egg components in your cocktail. because it's delicious. It's so delicious. And I read some statistic once that said you're more likely to die from choking on the nuts on the bar that you're drinking your beer at than to ever die of whatever egg's supposed to give you, salmonella or something. So, basically, a little bit of egg yolk, or not a little bit, but a full egg yolk in there. I'm sorry, I'm saying yolk. I meant white. Egg white, egg yolk, keep for your breakfast. I will actually eat that tomorrow morning with my delicious scramble to make me feel better after drinking too many of these. So I have basically rye whiskey, Pacharan, simple syrup, sweet vermouth, egg yolk, and Peychaud bitters, all in this. Now with egg drinks, what you want to do is you actually need to give it a dry shake, is what it's called. So if you have one of these strainers, take off the coil, throw it in here, and you actually want to give this a dry shake, no ice, with just the coil. Shake it long and hard. See you in a second. Woo! All right. So then, once you have physically exhausted yourself, go ahead and take this guy, throw that in the sink, whew, and add some ice. So now we're doing more of the wet shake. You add the ice cubes, you have the egg really frothed up. So if you ever take egg whites and throw them in your blender, and you're making a meringue or a pie and it says, you know, go till stiff white peaks form, essentially that's what we're doing, except we're not going that far. Now we have ice, throw it in there. You have a full cocktail, don't worry, it will strain out. Lock that on there, and another great shake. Alright, there we go. Should have put that in here. So from here, strain this off. I like to kind of give this a double strain in the cocktail glass. Make sure that none of those little ice particles that you just worked up get in. Beautiful texture. So if you haven't had an egg white cocktail beverage, try it out. They are exquisite. See the beautiful texture? All right. And we have ourselves the Blackthorn No. 2. Let's see what it tastes like. That's a winner, folks. Ooh! Try these. Make these. If you find Pacharan, even if you can't find Banyas, try Pacharan. It's such an amazing, amazing liqueur. Throw it with any particular liquor that you like. Favorite things, vodka, gin, rye, doesn't matter. You'll love it. Very, very classic. All over Spain. Enjoy this. I hope you can find it. I hope you can mix some cocktails. Try these out. The Burlesque, the Blackthorn No. 2. Cheers.